Hi, and welcome to Just Another View. So today's episode, this is the final part of the COVID press conference at Christmas. Today I'm going to be focusing on the vaccine. So here we go.
Thanks, Steve. Let's go to the media. Fergus Walsh, BBC.
Prime Minister, how many people will the NHS immunise every week? Because surely it needs to be in the millions.
So our aim is to get the jab into people's arms as quickly as the manufacturers can supply that vaccine to us. We've been focusing, as you know, on the highest priority groups set by JCVI, so the over 80s, residents in care homes, care home workers, and to avoid wastage, we've also been vaccinating NHS staff. But the increased supply that comes with the AstraZeneca vaccine means that we have written out to healthcare organisations today to instruct them to immediately expand the vaccination programme to all frontline health and social care workers.
Okay, so a question comes about vaccination. And I'm pretty much, for once, they actually, the NHS rep anyway, he actually said things with some common sense. When we get the vaccines, we're going to give it to the vulnerable. We're going to give it to the elderly. We're going to give it to the nursing homes. Then we're going to give it to the preconditions. Common sense. Thank you. Honestly, I think that's all I have to say. And no more. But as usual, these guys think they need to talk. You don't need to talk. It doesn't mean because the more words, the more things you say, the more words, the more ways you say it will make it seem any more, scary, should I say, or convincing. Because it almost seems like they're trying to convince us, telling you this, showing you all these graphs and all these things, all trying to convince you that this thing is real, it's fearful, stay home. Without telling you it's 99.5% of you will be fine. That's why I think they're trying to convince. Let's move on.
Professor Van Tam, a practical question. If somebody has the vaccine, can they see their grandchildren, for instance, as soon as the second dose is effective? Or are you still going to enforce the law banning them from travelling, meeting and going into one another's houses, even though for that person it's safe to do so? To
JVT. That's a fair enough question, isn't it?
Those, I think, Jonathan and I have discussed previously in these occasions. There may be things that we want to carry on in order to protect ourselves, basic disciplines about washing hands and so on. I think JVT mentioned wearing masks. There may be things that we want to continue with to protect ourselves against the virus for a while to come. But the hope is basically that we'll be able to move beyond NPIs if, as I say, the vaccine rollout programme is effective.
Yes, so indeed that there may be things that individuals decide that they've formed habits that they're going to stick with. That's to be seen in the future.
Wow. So answer the question of, if you've been vaccinated, will immunity be now an assurance? And he said a few things here. One of the first things he said about that was about individual habits, about people's habits changing. They've been forced into changing their habits. It's a human thing. When you do something continuously for about 3 months, actually it's usually 3 weeks, it becomes you. Good or bad, you just get used to it. Especially when you're forced to do something, not by your choice, you're being forced to do it. Well, you've got no choice. You just got to get on with it, and that's what's been happening in society. But it also means people are losing themselves. Come on.
Your question to me was rather more about vaccines and behaviour. And if after the second dose of your vaccine, it's okay to behave with wild abandon and go off to the bingo halls and whatever you like and so forth.
Oh my word. Wild abandons. What the hell? Go off to bingo halls. You mean just live your normal life? Wild abandons. I think that was very condescending. Very condescending. Not actually realizing what people are actually going through. You don't know what people have given up. And you're smirking about wild abandonments. Wow. Wow.
The answer to that is in two parts, but the magic phrase is transmission. I think we can be confident and we will know quite quickly, within a matter of a couple of months, the impact of these vaccines on reducing severe illness in the population. And when we know that, we'll be able to say, when you're fully vaccinated, I hope we'll be able to say your chances of severe illness from COVID are very markedly reduced. But right now, we can't say that that is synonymous with you not being able to pass the vaccine, the virus onto others. In other words, we don't know if the vaccines will reduce transmission yet.
So the key word is transmission. The only way they will get to know this is after a couple of months of testing. But I thought they've been testing all that since. Why is he saying that? So they're going to now, in another couple of months, they're going to now let you know whether you still need to be locked down or not locked down. But, so he says they're going to know quite quickly, in the matter of days, weeks, no, months, that's quite quickly, the infection of the severe illness in the population. Yet again, nothing about the 99.5%. The way he makes it seem is like the entire population.
We definitely will be looking at that. Public Health England have their finger on the pulse on this one through the Siren study in particular, looking at healthcare workers who will be vaccinated and where they're being tested for symptomatic and asymptomatic illness on a regular basis. So we'll get a handle quite soon, I hope, on whether these vaccines reduce transmission. But until then, even if you're vaccinated, I can't assure you that you won't. I can assure you that it's very likely you'll be protected from severe illness.
What I'm picking up from him, there's no hope. No, even with the hope, like I said, even with the fact that the vaccines are here now, he's still saying, okay, we need to take it. And then we're going to wait for another couple of months to then let you know maybe if it's actually going to immune people. Otherwise, what's going to happen? We're going to go back into lockdown. Seriously? My question is, what will happen if it doesn't? What's going to happen? Not to you, him. He's just going to go and come back on stage and keep talking, while others are just losing their freaking hope.
But I can't give you the assurance that you won't still pose a hazard to others through transmitting the virus. We have to just be patient on this point and give it another 2 or 3 months, and then ask me that question again, and I hope I'll give you a much more reassuring answer.
Thanks very much, both.
There you go. He said it. He literally said it. I still don't know, or we still don't know, even though you're protected, but you could still transmit it. Now think about this. What do you think is going to happen still? When it is still transmittable? We're still going to go back into lockdown then, aren't we? It's going to be the same solution, back into lockdown. Is that what they're going to do? Or are they not going to make it mandatory for each person in the country, actually in the world, to take a vaccine? Who knows? Me, personally, if you're healthy, I don't think you need to take a vaccine. If you're in the 99.5%, I don't think you need to take a vaccine. Personally, I've never taken a flu vaccine. And I've been pretty much okay. I get the flu probably once a year. But I know people who got the vaccine and they still get ill. So it should be your choice. That's what I say. Now, I say this in general. I really seriously cannot believe that this is what happens every day. This is my second time really watching it. And the first time I watched it was way back in March. And I can't believe it's still the same feeling. Even though we now have a vaccine, it's still the same feeling. That is scary. Because to me, what I also see from all this, from what I watched, and I kind of feel sorry for Boris Johnson. Because he wants us to open up. He knows there's a way of coping with the increase of the patients. And he knows about the 99.5%. the two people next to him and the media want the lockdown. That's it. As I say, that's the scary thing about all this. Anyway, and on that note, my advice is don't be fearful. Just be careful. Be safe.